All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome in. This is Big B here, Foundation.com, back here with another video. And today we have got my NBA playoffs first round reaction. So now since it's all over and we get to go to the games here. It's been a few stretches. I got a couple of series actually predicted right. If you guys haven't checked out my video where I predicted the entire playoffs, make sure you go check that out because I actually got some series correct here. But anyway, this was a really fun and interesting first round. So if you guys haven't already, make sure you guys do like and subscribe right here to the channel. We are on our way to 230 subscribers. Make sure you guys go join the Discord and do all that fun stuff here for the channel. Make sure you guys go join the NBA Playoff Bracket Challenge. I have that. I'll probably put the link in it in the comments. So a few minutes after this video is posted, a few minutes after before the video after this video is posted, I'm gonna have the link. I'm gonna have the that link in the comments below. So make sure you guys go check that out. All right. Without further ado, we're gonna go ahead and hop right into it. Like I said, we have a lot of stuff to talk about here, and yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. So, as you can tell, the second round is here. We will get into second round predictions. I'm hoping to have that out later today. So make sure you guys do go check it out when it's due posted because I do got everybody's picks in right now as I'm recording this. Um, so yeah, I do plan to have that video out soon for you guys. But as we can tell, the second round already started here in Minnesota, getting a crazy win over Denver today. But like I said, I'm not overreacting to that game just yet, but we're just here for the first round. So let's go ahead and dive into the first round here. And first series that we got was the Thunder sweeping the Pelicans. Okay, this was honestly not shocking here. I mean, OKC, like I knew OKC, everybody treated OKC like a dark horse as a number one seed. Like they treated OKC like a not like a dark horse, but kind of like a weaker number one seed, if I should say. And OKC just put on a clinic performance. I like what I saw from OKC in this series. I thought this team looked very good. They looked talented, both ends of the floor. I really like how OKC's defense was, and especially so there's good series averages there. SGA was really good in the series. Like what I saw out of him. CJ McCollum, I mean, he was just fine, but just wasn't the best. Okay, and then here you just have the four games over here. Yeah, OKC they took care of business at home, and then game one was a little bit of a shocker here, but at least it got it done. Game two it was complete domination from an OKC. Game three was also a complete domination, and number four, Pelicans could took them to the distance, but they just couldn't finish it out. But meanwhile, I give props to the Thunder. Like I thought, majority of the people actually picked the Thunder to lose in actually this series, and I at the beginning of the video, I made my predictions video for the first round, so I wouldn't be shocked if OKC actually lost because they could be a week one seed. I think OKC did a really good job of proving everybody that they're not a weak number one seed. This OKC team is the number one seed for a reason. They can throw some punches at you, and I just think that's just what we saw in this series. So this was definitely a good win here for OKC. 4-0, get the series sweep. You got rest. You got the rest advantage because the Clippers and Mavs with the seven, so you definitely got a rest advantage. So let's see how they take advantage of it. Plus, they have the home team in the series too. So let's see how they manage here. But overall, I thought this was a pretty dominating performance out of the Thunder series. And for the Pelicans, this was definitely a tough break for you. Definitely, I was expecting you guys to win at least one game, and you guys couldn't even win a game here. I was kind of shocked in that standpoint, especially when you guys really got blown out at home both games. But listen, this OK team they're legit. They're ready here to win. So definitely a good performance there out OKC. All right, next up we got Dallas beating the Clippers in 6 games, and this is one of those series that I actually got it right. Like I picked Dallas to win this series in 6 games, and that's what happened. Anyway, just look at this series in general. Clippers were actually off to a pretty good start in this series. You know, winning in dominating fashion at home until by the way, Kawhi, what's going on with Kawhi Leonard? Why is he always never playing in the playoffs anymore? But whatever. Game two, Dallas responded with a good statement. Went on the road. Games 3 and 4, when they're in Dallas, Dallas took advantage of their home court advantage in game 3, but they couldn't in game 4. Then Dallas bounced back and had the absolutely embarrassing performance here from the Clippers at home in game 5, and then they closed it out in game 6. So like I said, I picked Dallas to win the series in 6 games. That's exactly what happened. Luca was outstanding. I thought Kyrie Irving looked outstanding in this series as well. It's just for the Clippers. It's just unfortunate, man. Like I said, you can't ever trust the Clippers, especially with the situation they're in right now. Their offense, Kawhi Leonard always being out, is one thing that the Clippers always use to um, struggle with here. But overall, I thought Dallas performed really well in this series. Like I said, I like how their offense was moving. Their defense actually looked pretty good in game 3. Their defense was phenomenal. Game 5, their defense was phenomenal as well, and their offense was pretty efficient. So, and for the Clippers, I don't know what they do now. I don't know. This is the end of the season. I don't know if they bring a Kawhi and Paul George. I don't know what they're gonna do. So like I said, Dallas advanced. They'll play against OKC in the second round, and that should be a good one. You have a lot of firepower on that series. And now, like I said, the picks, we'll get into that on tomorrow's video, or today or tonight's video. So because I'm playing the posters out in the morning, so yeah, definitely a very good series here. But the Mavericks ended up having the Sliders over the Clippers. All right, next up we got the Suns. Next up we got the Suns getting swept by Minnesota, and I think this one would be pretty easy. It's been because I think this series is an easy explanatory. Phoenix, what the hell was this? What the hell? What were we talking about here? You guys made me look like a fool when I picked. Yes, I did pick Minnesota to win the series, and luckily that I did because I was really thinking about Phoenix at the time. But Phoenix, how in the hell did you get swept by Minnesota? You could even win one game against a team that you actually dominated in the regular season series. And now you take this team and you got absolutely the fuck blown out of you in this entire series. And that's what happened. Anthony Edwards just kicked the living shit out of your defense, Phoenix. It is what happened, man. Phoenix, I'm sorry to say this, but this is one of the most embarrassing performances we ever seen from a team in the first round. Just look at the final scores. 120 to 95, 105 to 93, and you couldn't even protect home court advantage. You won 126 to 109. You got blown out by almost 20 points on your home floor in game 3. In game 4, it didn't seem like a blowout, but it kind of was a blowout. Like, holy shit, Phoenix, what the hell? Plus KD. D Book. D Book's actually, that's the only thing you could. The Phoenix really got anything positive in the series. D Book was absolutely on fire, but in the series, but Anthony Edwards just beat them up. Anthony Edwards just kicked the living shit out of this team. Plus, you can just tell the Suns actually need a true point guard in this series because Bradley Beal and Devin Booker, those two guards, they can get it done for you on the offensive end, but you can't really run like good offensive sets because you don't really have a good point. You don't have a point guard on the team. Plus, Phoenix has to address that defense. Phoenix's defense in this series was absolutely terrible. All right, come on, listen. Phoenix's defense. You guys allowed 3 120 plus point games, and Minnesota scored 100 points every single game. That's absolutely pathetic. And then meanwhile, look at the Timberwolves defense. I think they can actually give problems to Denver going into next series. That's because Timberwolves defense looks really good. They look really good. They stopped KD at a good rate. I know they couldn't stop D Book at times, but because D Book was really the only one that was doing anything in this series for Phoenix. But they did a good job on KD. I thought they did a good job on Bradley Beal. So we'll see what the Timberwolves do here in the second round. I'm very interested because their offense look good and their defense looks like one of the best in the league. And especially with the sign coming up, Minnesota could be a fair favorite in the West. So definitely a statement series here by Minnesota, and that was something that we definitely need to look at. Next up, we got Denver beating my Lakers in 5 games, and this is another one, another series that I got exactly correct. Anyway, when you just look at this game in general, the Lakers, we actually played really well in this series, but we just came up short. Game one, like I said, game one was kind of Denver's way. Like we could have won this game, but Denver was just a better team that came down through the stretch. Game two is basically kind of the same thing, but we lost to the Jamal Murray shot, which was absolutely frustrating. Game three, we just did not have enough. Game four, we stepped it up, got a challenge. Actually when game four was actually over, I actually had some hope that the Lakers were actually going to pull out the series and win, but it didn't happen. And then game five, we lost to Jamal Murray again. So if you guys haven't checked out this series, we lost two times to Denver, and that was game one and game three. Game two and game five, we lost to Jamal Murray because Jamal Murray ended us on a game winning shot. But anyway, looking at the series in general, Anthony Davis was absolutely outstanding. Anthony Davis, he was efficient. His defense was great. He blocked almost everybody on the entire court. LeBron was really good for us as well. I like what I saw LeBron in this series. And I honestly thought we deserved to win this series because I think we led the series like 70% of the time, like 70%, 75% of the time, and Denver just executed us throughout the stretch. Um, Nikola Jokic was good too, but you guys can't look at this series and tell you guys that Denver played their best in this series. They did not, and that's only one concern what I have for them facing against Minnesota next round. Can this team be more efficient and play defending champion basketball? If they can, I believe they will narrowly beat Minnesota. If not, they're not beating Minnesota. The way Minnesota's playing right now, no, absolutely not. But anyway, this was just an unfortunate break. The Lakers, I think we got to make some changes this offseason. I don't know what it is, but we got to make changes. Um, so Denver, congratulations. So you guys made it to the second round. Tip top to you against Minnesota because you're definitely going to need the way how they're playing right now. But tip top to you guys. Good luck, and yeah, let the off season unfortunately start here for the Lakers. So GG Denver. We'll get you guys next year. All right, next up we got the Celtics beating the Heat in 5 games and kind of a I don't know, kind of a low scoring series here. I mean, listen, Miami Heat. Um, I thought the series was going to go to 6 or 7, but I wasn't advertising to Jimmy Butler not to be out in this series because let's be honest, if Jimmy Butler was playing in this series probably would have went to 6 or 7. You guys can smell it because that's what happens every single year that these two teams match them in the playoffs. Like it seems like these two teams have to match them in the playoffs every single year at some point in the playoffs. But anyway, just look at these games in general. Boston completely smacked this shit out of Miami at games 1 and 5, and I think they've done it in game 4 as well. Well, every game was kind of an ass whooping, but you got to give Miami at least some credit here for getting a win in Boston because when they won that one game, it was game 2 in Boston, and that was actually pretty impressive. But besides that, Miami just didn't have enough. They just didn't have enough firepower to keep up with Boston, and it is unfortunate that this team had advanced to the second round, knowing that I am like arch nemesis with Boston. But it's the truth. Like when you just look at Miami Heat in general, I think they were without Terry Rozier and Jimmy Butler in this series. Miami just didn't have enough. They didn't have enough to keep up with the firepower that Boston had. Anyway, by the way, Bam was pretty good. 22 points, 6 assists. Jason Tatum, I mean, he was just fine. I would like to see him do a little bit better than 21.8 points a game, but he was just fine. Anyway, Boston Celtics, their offense was absolutely phenomenal in this series. They shot the lights out of the basketball. And their defense held Miami under 100 points 4 times. I mean that's crazy. I mean their Celtics defense looks really good as well. So Boston definitely, I will say this was a pretty good series here for Boston. You know they got enough rest. They're playing against Cleveland next round, which is going to be very interesting. But unfortunately for Miami, they are going out in the first round. And listen, if Miami team if they were healthy, I do think they would have pushed this series to 6 or 7. But yeah, but overall this was a pretty one-handed series. So congratulations, Boston, you're moving on to the second round. I hope now I am rooting against you. Hopefully you guys lose to Cleveland, but we'll see. Anyway, Boston is at the next round. All right, next we have the Cavs beating the Magic in 7 games here, and this was the last series that actually got right. I picked Cleveland to win the series in 7 games, and that happened. Anyway, just look at the series in general. Every single home team won the game in this series. As you can see, all road teams struggled. Like when you take a look at Orlando, they did not perform as good as they did on Orlando in this series. And same thing for Cleveland. Like when this series was in Orlando, Cav did not perform well at all. But then this is just like I said, this was just another series that it came down to home court advantage, and whoever will home is Game Seven. That's it. I literally said it that way. Whoever is home in Game Seven this series, I'll take them to win this series. And that was Cleveland. So I'm taking Cleveland in seven. Now Cleveland does have a very hard task against Boston next round. It's going to be hard. They're going to be tested. The question is, do they have the firepower to keep up with Boston? That's going to be the opposite. And you definitely have to perform better than this. And your offense has to be way more consistent if you want to beat Boston. But anyway, just looking at in general, Boston, give credit to Paulo. Paulo and Donovan, they were both outstanding in this series. Um, both teams really struggled offensively in some games, and defensively too. Both teams like gave up a lot of runs. Like the way teams gave up a lot of home teams a lot of runs in this series. Both offense like wasn't the best. So like I said for Cleveland, their offense had to be way more efficient in this if they want to have a chance to beat Boston. But but yeah, both offenses were kind of not the best in this series. Both defenses were alright. Especially the Magic, both defenses were actually pretty good in certain games. I like what I saw. Like this series was like you could literally say about the same thing about both teams here because they're both because it was just very similar. So overall, I thought this series was very entertaining. Very like I said, two very young teams going at it. It's definitely going to be an entertaining series, and it really was. So this series was a show, man. You know, each team winning home games. That's just what it's all about. That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to defend your home court in the playoffs. And yeah, but both of these two teams did a really good job at that. So unfortunately for the Magic, this season had to end in a Game 7 break to Donovan Mitchell. And for Cleveland, good luck in the next round against Boston. Let me tell you, I'm going to be rooting for you. All right, next up we got the Bucks beating the Pacers in 6 games. Actually, no. Next up we got the Pacers beating the Bucks in 6 games. And like I said, this is kind of like the Miami deal. It's unfortunate because the Bucks literally lost due to injuries to Giannis and Damian Lillard. Anyway, just look at this game in general. Milwaukee was actually off to a very fast start in this series. They ended up winning. They ended up winning in a dominating fashion in Game 1, and in Game 2, and for these next 3 games, Indiana just stomped on Milwaukee. And then Milwaukee got the final stretch at home when they completely waxed Indiana, and that's when their season came to an end, getting their ass whooped in Indiana. So you just look at the series in general. Like I said, the Bucks were just manhandled due to injuries. Like they had no Giannis for the entire series. They're missing Dame for like games. They're missing Dame for games 4 and 5, which they really did needed Dame at that point. Chris Middleton, even though he did play the entire series, he was kind of even banged up. But just looking at this series in general, I mean, it wasn't a bad series. I thought it was very competitive on both sides. I think we saw what these two teams are very capable of doing. Also, the Pacers' offense looks really good, by the way. The Pacers, they finished number one offense in the league. I think the series really showed you why they are the number one offense in the league, scoring 120, 124 out of the 4 out of the 6 games. Like that's insane. I mean, for Milwaukee, their defense was really not that good in this series. You know, like I said, averaging Pacers getting 120 plus points 4 of the games out of the 6. But Milwaukee, they did. I'm gonna say for Milwaukee, they did the best they could with their injuries that they had, but it just wasn't enough. For because the Pacers, I mean, the series would. I mean, if Giannis would have played in the series, I do think the Bucks would have won the series because with Giannis, their defense is better, their offense is better, they look more fluid. The team has more momentum with Giannis on the court, so yeah, I think the Bucks had an unlucky break there, but unfortunately, the Pacers had to win, so the Pacers will take on the New York Knicks in the second round. Good luck to you guys. And for the Bucks, unfortunately, this season had to come into an end. So basically back to back years, the season had to come to an end because due to injuries. So yeah, so like I said, I wish injuries didn't exist in this series, but that's just what happened. All right, and then the last series of the first round, we had the Knicks beating the Sixers in 6 games here. Not really a shocker here. I mean, Jalen Brunson. First of all, just talk about this series in general. Jalen Brunson just kicked the shit out of Philadelphia's defense. He averaged 35.5 points. This man always averaged 36 points a game against you, Philadelphia. Like that's a problem. Anyway, Joel Embiid was just fine. Joel Embiid was great in the series as well. But anyway, just looking at the series in general, New York got off to a quick 2-0 start with their narrow wins over Game 1 and Game 2. Philadelphia did bounce back in Philadelphia in Game 3, but New York really responded to that and took care in Game 4. Philadelphia proved that they were not done yet in Game 5, winning this game in Madison Square Garden. And then in Game 6, New York took Philadelphia out on their home floor. So just look at the series in general. Like I said, Jalen Brunson looks phenomenal. Like they have a really high ceiling for offensive rebounding. This is a really good offensive rebounding team. The Knicks offense looks really good in this series. Their defense actually looks pretty good as well. Because when you take a look at the Knicks defense, they allowed 92 in one game and only 101 in one game. And then their offense was just fine. I mean, I would say it's efficient. Their offense was efficient, except for Game 4. Besides that, their offense was pretty efficient there. But for Philadelphia, their offense was efficient for every game except for Game 4 when they scored 92 points. Yikes. But I also thought Tyrese Maxey Tyrese Maxey also had a hell of a series in this one as well. So give credit to Tyrese Maxey. By the end of the day, it just wasn't enough to keep up with Jalen Brunson's Knicks. So the Knicks will play Pacers in the second round. That should be a very energetic series with those two. So especially with two offensive teams that have very high firepower. And and if the Sixers season comes to an end, I'm wondering what they're gonna do this offseason. Are they gonna make trades or are they gonna keep the same roster and run it back? We'll find out. Also, guys, before we sign out of here, I am going to give you guys my second round preview because I'm not going to do this in the prediction video. So Mavericks versus Thunder versus Mavericks. This is going to be a hell of a series. I actually can't wait to watch this. Both teams are coming off great series wins. Both of these two teams have very good offensive players. Luca, Shea, Kyrie, Chet Holmgren. So this is going to be a really good series, man. It's going to be a test. It's just going to see who has the better offense. Because I think a lot of games here are going to be high scoring games, but I don't know. You never know. It's going to be a great. It's gonna be a great second round matchup for sure, and I can't wait for this. I can't wait for this series. It's gonna be energetic. All right, next up we got Minnesota, Denver. Like I said, as I'm recording this, Denver won game. I mean Minnesota won game one, but overall for this series, I'm expecting a great one. I'm expecting this series to go back and forth. Two heavyweights here, in the Western Conference. Honestly, I do think whoever wins this series is probably going to win the West, in my opinion. So like I said, this series is going to be great. It's going to be fun. It's gonna be a show. Both teams have great defenses. Both teams have great offenses. So this series is going to be energetic. But let's see who comes up on top. This series should be the best one of the second round, if you're asking me. All right, and then we go to the third series of the second round. We have the Celtics playing Cleveland in the second round. I am going to be interested in this series only if the Cavaliers can keep up with the Celtics. Now I know, like I said before, the Cavs have a tough task here because you're going into Boston 3 out of the 4 games if you manage to get there. But Cleveland just has to lock in here. They have to lock in here. They have, like I said, they have to be more efficient offensively to keep up with this team. So if the Cavaliers can keep so that the Cavaliers can keep up their efficient offense, I do think they should be able to hang around Boston. But if they don't, this will be a really short series. Cleveland, like I said, I'm rooting for you, but I think this one should be a 6 or 7 game series. But we never know that this one should be a good one. All right, and then the last preview that we got is the Knicks playing the Pacers here in the first round, and like I said, I think this one's gonna be another good show. Like I said, both two good offensive teams here, so I'm not expecting really good showing out of both teams here. I think this series is gonna be fun. It's going to be exciting, but yeah, we'll see. I think this one's gonna come down to who plays better defense and who has the better defense, who has the better crunch time. And like I said, we'll get into it later tonight with my picks. So yeah, we'll see what happens here. Like I said, I'm expecting a show. I'm expecting a good series here, but let's see what comes up on top. So let's see what happens then. All right, guys, and that is my NBA first round reactions. And actually, yeah, I'm gonna do week one NBA reactions and NBA conference finals, no conference semifinals previews. So, one, if you guys haven't don't already, make sure you guys do like and subscribe here to the channel. Anyway, I'm gonna hop off, get the thing out so you guys can watch on time. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. This is Baby here, signing off on nation.com. Peace out. Stay safe. See you next time.